Well, I'm delighted to welcome a very special guest on the show this week. He has a fond association with Lincolnshire football, spending time here at Blundell Park as club captain before going on to enjoy a successful career in club management. Well, everyone here at Blundell Park at Grimsby Town is delighted to have him back in the county. Former Mariner, former England football manager, Graham Taylor. Graham, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How does it feel to be back on your old stamping ground?
Well, it always is special, isn't it? I mean, this is your first, or my first professional football club. Came here as a 17-year-old boy, left school when taking A-levels in the first year sixth form. Headmaster not very happy with me at all. But we came here and it's 1962, I think it was. And it started then for me my professional football career.
What about the place? Has it changed much?
Not as I'm looking here. I remember this stand as that, and certainly down there the players' entrance to the dressing rooms. Turn to the right. On your left-hand side, as you go through, will be the visitors' dressing room, and then you go straight on ahead, and there's the home team dressing room. I guess it hasn't changed.
We'll go down and have a look in a moment. Before we go in there, lovely evening. Much talk about club ground changing and so on and so forth. But what are the sort of characteristics that are lost forever when you go away from a club and a ground like this?
First of all, when you have a ground like this, you have the closeness of the supporters. I'm not saying that other grounds don't have them, but if you look round, everybody, wherever they are, the pitch is just there. So as players, you know, if you're in the position that we're in here, halfway line and what have you, yeah, you're near the manager's dugout, so you probably will get an earful if you're not playing so well. But basically, you're near the supporters, so there's that feeling that you're in this together, and you find that at clubs that haven't got massive big stands. If you've got massive big stands, yeah, of course you have a lot of noise and that, but there's a closeness to these kind of grounds, and you feel that the supporters are with you, and they will be, providing you're winning.
Shall we have a walk down the tunnel?
Yeah, let's go.
So, going back down here, what are your fondest memories of running out here at Blundell Park?
Well, I think it was always the fact that, and particularly when you know, I was the captain, you were leading your team out in front of your supporters. And what you had to do, what was very much in your mind, this was a game where you had to give of your best, and you also were looking forward to a win. It always is. It's the same now, really. You know, obviously everybody wants to win and what have you, but winning your home games is very important.
You can almost smell the atmosphere in here, can't you?
Yeah. Now that, can I stop here?
Yeah.
Because that says no smoking down here. That, I'm pretty certain, used to be the away team dressing room. Whether it is now or not, I don't know. But if it is, that's where, when I first came, I went to get changed.
Really?
Because the first team squad, and I was just joining as a 17-year-old, so the first team squad changed in the home team dressing room, and the rest of us, we were put into the away team dressing room, and that was the door that we went into, and I got changed in there. So the first time that I actually trained with Grimsby Town as a full-time professional.
That's where it was?
That was in that room.
Oh, fancy that. Yeah. So changes already, you're seeing?
Yeah, yeah.
So as we go through here...
Yeah. Fair enough. Here, this was the staff room. This is where George Higgins, who was the trainer, first class, I owe George a lot, because I was not a fullback when I joined the club. They turned me into a fullback. I'm not so certain that was the best thing, but they did. And George Higgins was a fullback in his playing career, and he helped me a great deal. But in there, the staff used to get changed.
All right. It's like nobody's going in there now. It's
No.
locked up completely. So here we are.
This is it. This is the first team dressing room, and it looks very, very similar to what it was when I was here, which I don't know is whether that's a compliment or not. That is different. That certainly is different. That you used to go straight out the door, and behind that door, when you went out, there was you used to go up some stairs, and it's where they kept your kit, because you used to have your kit, and of course afterwards training used to be cleaned and washed for the following day, and that was kept out there, and you used to go and collect it. And you had to get here early to make sure you got some of the best kit, because in those days you would just had to rely on getting some decent kit. I'm talking about training kit.
Really?
And believe me, some of the training kit, there was a lot of questions to be asked about it.
Probably a lot of fans, it's the first chance they've had to look behind the scenes, might be surprised. We see the inside of many dressing rooms these days with Sky and so forth, and often they're bigger, they're grander, entertaining some of the top Premier League sides.
Yeah, I have to say this, that I wouldn't have thought all those years ago, when I was a player at Grimsby, that I would come back so many years later and see that very little has changed as regards dressing room. The bathroom was in here. Here it is, look. It's now showers. But at this time, if we can come in, toilet all against it. This here, these weren't in. They've set, you see, you get showered. This was a communal bath. Need I say anything more?
No, you didn't say anything more.
Need I say anything more about that? Yeah.
Who'd have thought we'd be talking to Graham Taylor on the bench in the showers at Blundell Park. Let's talk about the Mariners this season, knocking on the door of the Football League.
Yeah.
How do you rate the job that Paul Hurst has done this season?
You know, it's fine because you're in a position, they're in a decent position in the conference. Nobody actually wants to be in the conference. As a football like when you get relegated into it, nobody wants to be. Getting out of it isn't as easy as people think it is. And I look and follow their results in as much as I can. You know, both Lincoln, my former club, and Grimsby are now in the conference. I have to say this to the camera, that's not my fault at all, just so you know. But basically, you want them out of it. You want them to come back into the league. And it's not easy. It's not as easy as people think it should be. And of course, the money that comes into the game goes into Football Association, Football League, Premier League, they give the, but it doesn't come down into the conference. Because that money is meant for Football League sides, it's meant for Premier League sides, and unfortunately, none of the money filters down into the conference. So if you get relegated into it, the quicker you can get out of it, the better.
From experience, what are the day-to-day real challenges that a young manager faces in the lower leagues, such as Paul Hurst?
Well, he actually faces exactly what most managers now face, much more than they did, in as much that you've got to get your results, and if you don't get your results, you'll get the sack. I know that sounds very brutal the way I've said it, but that's what it is. It's as brutal as that. Now, people say, well, of course, managers are responsible for the results, etc. Well, yes, they have to. That is the responsibility to create a winning side. But you get a winning side when your players are playing well, when they're doing things. The manager never kicks the ball on a match day. And I'm not making excuses for him because he has to take the responsibility for the results. But when the actual match comes, his job is to prepare the players as best as he can to enable them to be able to get a win. But basically, it's the players that have to take that determination, that confidence, that ability, and put it into place on the pitch. The manager doesn't cross the line at all.
Graham, you mentioned Lincoln City. How disappointing is it to see their season petering out into mediocrity just down the A46, having spent so much time there as a successful manager?
Well, it is. I mean, as I've said, with both of Grimsby and Lincoln, you watch them. The last thing that you want your sides to be is out of the Football League. Now, I don't in any shape or form have a go at the conference because of this. That is what the life is about now. If you finish the bottom of your table and you're relegated into the conference. You've got to get out of it. You've got to get out of it. And that is not easy. I'm not even suggesting that it's an easy thing to do, but that is what's got to happen. Otherwise, you face the prospect of being a nothing club. Because if you don't get out of it in a number of years, people forget about you. Because whatever they say, and I'm not being unkind to the conference, yes, people such as myself and others will read, will see what the club's doing. But the majority of people, what's the conference? And I'm not being unkind to them, but that is what you've gone out of the league. You've gone out of the Football League, and people soon forget you.
Hey, when you talk about England very quickly, how excitable a time should it be now for England fans compared with recent years?
I thought you was going to say compared to your time.
No, I was careful not to say that.
I think you've always got to look in a positive fashion as much as you can say. I mean, it was the biggest disappointment. I've said so many times I get bored saying, but it will be only me that carries non-qualification through to my grave. I'll take it into my grave. It was a very, very difficult period of time for myself. There's no doubt about it. The thing that I'm proud, if I have any reason for proud, I stayed in this country. I didn't go abroad, and I resurrected my managerial career at club level in this country. And from that time on, England managers have gone back to club level, like Terry Venables did so, you know, then Steve McLaren. And I think that's it. If you judge good enough to be the manager of the England side, then surely you're good enough to be manager of a club. It shouldn't end your career.
And how near is an England side to winning a major tournament?
I think we'll have to wait and see. I'm not being negative in this fashion, but I think we'll have to wait and see, because for some reason, and I can't even now place my finger on the reason, players over the years have found it hard to perform at tournament level. You know, as we know they can form, they're playing the best, and what we found. So you need to get that, you see, you need to get a right mentality going right through the squad of players. One thing that I would say is that the players that make up the England squad, not one of them is used to being a substitute. Not one of them is used to not playing in the first team. So you're not just talking about the 11 players that play for England, you're talking about the full squad. And when the manager, Roy in this particular, names his side, so he names his 11, but there's 7 or 8 of those people who are never not in the first team at the club level. And it's a strange experience for them. Now, those people are vitally important. Those players who are not playing in the build-up to the game, they are vitally important in creating and helping to maintain a kind of preparation for the game and a positiveness. But sometimes that can be difficult for those players because they're not used to either sitting on the bench as a substitute or not being in the squad at all. So you've got personality to make sure that you know how to handle that.
Graham, it's a pleasure meeting you here at Blundell Park.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.